being a filmmaker in 2026, you gotta have something that sets you apart. Unique style, a niche, whatever. And starting out as a filmmaker in 2026, that can be scary as hell. And I know, because I'm on that journey myself. For the past 2 years, I've been working really hard on chasing that dream of mine of becoming a freelance filmmaker. And in the beginning I thought, let's just do a bit of everything, you know? Let's be good at it all, and that will be so easy for clients to hire me, because I can do it all. But the more I've been doing this, I've realized that's not really true, and also the beginning phase is not that hard, really. Allow me to explain. Okay, so I should now. Welcome to our base camp. 2,101 meters. So, what I've chosen to specialize myself in is documentary filmmaking. And I know there are a lot of documentary filmmakers out there, and it's also not that narrow. It doesn't make you unique. But within documentary filmmaking, there are a lot of styles and a lot of niches. You've got sports documentary, nature documentary, verte style, or just like really clean or more gritty. There are so many differences. And I think if you pick your style and just be really good at that one, you will get hired, because you're the guy who does that. So I haven't just picked documentary, no. I've picked documentary in challenging environments, in a kind of handheld, shaky, gritty style. Why is that? Because I love adventure and just the rush of adrenaline, exploring places and just being curious about things. But in some places it's just not really easy to bring a big camera setup, and it's often just a GoPro that gets sent in. And I think that footage just looks kind of disappointing. So I want to specialize myself in bringing big equipment to places where it's often not really seen. So, the way I'm currently approaching getting better at what I want to do, because it's not that easy, you can't just go out and always encounter challenging environments, right? I do this in a couple of ways. First of all, I work a lot together with the fire department here locally in Belgium, and that does require a certain set of expertise, let's say. You have to be comfortable within tight environments, smoking buildings. Don't be too claustrophobic. You have to know the guys, know what's safe, what's not. You have to be fast, etc., etc. So I produce a lot of mini documentaries for them throughout the year to post on socials, to post on their website. Just a lot of different but really fun things. Second of all, I also guide and photograph cycling adventures in Africa. I think this also comes with a lot of different expertise. You have to, you know, sometimes be on your own, solve problems when things go wrong, be in charge of an entire group. It all has its own intricacies, and I mean, it makes it really interesting and makes you really developed in a lot of different aspects. Or whenever I'm on location for another job, I try to seek my own adventure. So last year I was in Tokyo, Japan for a Red Bull assignment, and when it was done, I booked a camper for a couple of weeks and just explored Japan my way. Kind of seeking adventures, seeking these harder trails, going up to volcanic craters, not Mount Fuji, but some more unknown volcanoes. And that was a lot of fun. Video on that somewhere up here. I'll tell you all about how I approach clients and what I'm currently doing to get these jobs. But let me first tell you about why the beginning phase is not the hardest phase, at least according to me. Okay, so beginning as a filmmaker can seem really hard, but really it isn't. I mean, you get your camera, you're just excited to do things, you start saying yes to everything because you shoot. In the beginning, you absolutely do everything just to get a portfolio experience and try to find what really sparks you. What is it that I can do that is just special, that is fun to do, that will, I don't know, just be unique. And then comes the middle part, and I think that's the most challenging part and perhaps where the most people quit. And admittedly, that's where I'm at right now. You're past that beginning phase, you know what you want to do, you've got a clear objective in front of you, you have got all the gear, your editing is getting better, framing, color grading, audio, lighting. Maybe you've got a cool show reel or a nice website that you're really proud of, and you're like, come on, I want to work, I want to do this, I'm ready. And the work doesn't really come. And I believe that's the most challenging part. So at that point, it's really important to kind of start focusing, to not romanticize certain parts too much, because on social media, it can seem like everyone just starts out and within a couple of months they're making 10k a month and living the life, whatnot. Reality is that's just not true. So let me tell you about a couple of upcoming projects that for me are really exciting and feel like the next step. But I mean, it's not that romantic to get those. Okay, I've found a nice spot near the water to photograph some birds. There's some geese right over there. But anyways, let me tell you first about those projects. First of all, since I've got quite a good relationship with the fire department, I've arranged with them to make a documentary, let's say over a bit of a more longer period. Previously, it was often like 2, 3, maybe 4 days of filming and then into the edit and off it went. But this time we want to follow somebody from start throughout their training towards the first jobs as a firefighter, which to me sounds like an awesome mini documentary, but it will take like about a year to film from start to finish. Even though this is not a big budget production, that I've got this opportunity to make it happen and just to make something super cool about this. The second is a production agency with which I've wanted to work for a really long time at this point. And let's say it's not really that glamorous. I've emailed them once with a pitch and they basically said, not at this time, come back to us later. Basically, I guess everyone has had this reply at some point. I put come back to us later, 2 months after in my agenda, emailed them again and they came back to me. And I did this for a couple of times. I've been doing this since before my expedition to Japan. And right now, I think we're getting somewhere. Maybe I've got some calls with them coming soon. You know, it's a slow process and it's not a glamorous process. But I think this is actually how you reach things. You pitch with a cold email, you follow up, you keep following up, you're nice, not stalking these people, you're just kind and you keep coming back to them asking, hey, any updates yet? I'm still interested, let's do something together. And then the third job is something in the automotive sector, which I know I've said I specialize in documentary filmmaking, but I think this is one part of commercial filmmaking that does really speak to me. Because most automobiles, to me, are basically one link to adventure, to freedom, to going places. And so partnering up with the right brands would be an awesome opportunity to kind of bring this adventure, nature, filmmaking style of mine to life, outside, basically. And so via another car brand, which I'd worked with before, Ford, I was at this big auto show and got talking to a guy from another brand that does interest me. And he gave me his business card, you know how it goes. It says, call me after the show sometime. And so I call him after the show. And we schedule a meeting, the meeting gets moved, we reschedule it, but I don't give up. You have to keep following up, these people are busy, that's okay, you just have to be stubborn, basically, don't give up. And so right now I'm this close to making an awesome deal with them, which to me would just enable even more freedom, even more adventure, even more being outside. And I know that these cars don't always go to extreme places, but because I'm good at capturing in challenging environments, I'm also really good at capturing in small crews, which means that certain things are just way cheaper to produce. If you need 1, maybe 2 people, that's way cheaper than a crew of 20.
Yeah, he was a good boy.
So, at least for me, I guess a lot of interesting projects in the near future. I'm certainly gonna bring you guys along on this journey, as I always do. For the Firefighters project, I'm gonna have to find a way to get my Ronin 4D into these burning buildings safely, which will probably involve making some contraption out of a firefighter jacket with some foil, and I've got some ideas already. But if you've got experience with these very niche but still fun shoots, please let me know. And also for the automotive project, I will obviously take you guys with me, share about the process, how I make these things, and basically go on little adventures with the cars. And my advice to you guys, if you're at this middle phase, I know it's hard, but it's so important that you don't give up. You've gone through the beginning phase, you're starting to become a filmmaker. Don't give up. It's been 2 years from me right now, and obviously things are starting to snowball. And when looking back, it's crazy what I have already achieved, but there's so much more I want to do. So if you want to see more of this journey, please get subscribed, and I mean, that's it, I guess. See y'all next week.